DVD you're going to start looking at is about a Joe staff. The Joe staff we're going to use is an oak one. This is about 4 feet in length. There are different types of Joes that you can use, alright? With the oak one that I've got here, it's quite a strong one, but the rat and cane ones would be used completely different. You have to appreciate while I'm going through this DVD that it's all based on this particular type of Joe and not any other one. Starting Joe practice. Now, what I'm doing is, I'm bringing it up ready to just start the movement. And I want to step forward and I'm going up into a rising block and a forward stance. When I'm doing this, what I'm doing is I'm doing a rolling action. And this rolling action repels another weapon away. What I don't recommend is that you just bring it up straight up in the air and shove it up this way. Now while I'm doing this movement, as I roll coming up, I also position my hands so the hands are just above my shoulders. You don't want to come up and block in a wide position. When you're blocking up into this position, it's structurally very strong. The wider you take your arms, the weaker the staff becomes from a block on it. Now you might find that a little bit strange, but you've got to think that you're blocking off other weapons. And some of these other weapons can be heavy attacks. So bringing it up, I bring it up and block. The other thing I'm doing is I'm taking my thumbs to the outside as I do my block. Now the reason for this is when you're blocking, if you have your thumbs to the inside, when you're having impact of blocking, the thumbs on the inside of your hand are going to take a lot of impact. Up here, as I block, it's the palm heel that comes up to do the block. When you're doing any kind of blocking method, you want to test out what you're doing. And if I'm coming in and I'm doing a rising block up on this and I've stepped into a forward stance, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my partner to come in and push down as hard as he can against this and make sure that your block is strong when you're doing it. Okay, just relax. So I've come in, I've blocked up, and again, if I just show you the test on this, I'm moving, I'm in a forward stance position, and he can push down as hard as he wants, and this is not going to collapse. Coming through, what I'm going to do is I'm going to step forward, and I'm stepping forward with my left leg, and I'm blocking down. Now this is stopping off an attack that's coming in low. But what I do on this, again, I do this rolling action. My thumbs again have gone to the outside as I do my movement. So all I have to do, step forward, block down. Now again, you'll see that my hands are not wide. They're coming in, so they're supported just underneath my shoulders, and this gives me great structural strength. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a block coming off to the side, and with my Joe staff, I'm holding it in my right hand, and I do a little twisting action with the right wrist, and this starts to turn the staff. My left hand comes up onto this to do the block coming out, and what I do is the left hand forms a little groove, and that's where the palm of your hand is, and it fits into the centre, and I can start to block coming out. Now, I can do this where I step forward and turn off to the side, as if I'm repelling an attack coming out. I'm just showing you from the side here so you can actually see this rolling action going through. You've got to let this hand just form that little bed so the Joe staff fits comfortably in between. I also use my thumb just to guide it into place. Now, just to show you how to do a test on this, if you just step forward, please. Now, all I'm doing on this is I'm coming into my position of blocking out on this, and if he wants to push against this, again, structurally, I'm in a very, very strong position. Okay, just move back again. Now, I step forward, turn and block. The rolling action on this is to repel another weapon away from you. If you just came out and done a straight block, locked your arms out straight, you're taking a lot of impact. When you do that little turning action, that makes all the difference to what happens to the attacker's weapon or arm as they come into you. An outside forearm block using the Joe staff. Now what I'm doing is I'm stepping with my left and extending out to the side. I do this rolling action as I've explained before with it. Alright? Now as I'm doing the roll, that is going to be pushing the person away. Obviously your stance and posture are really important when you're coming in with this. And again we can just do a little test on this. So get my partner just to come in, push against this, And you can see that it's in a nice strong position. Okay, thank you. Alright, and then I can just move back. So if you have a look at this, I can move off and block. Now when you're practicing all these movements, I want you to do them right side and left side. What I'm doing is I'm doing a single-handed reverse strike. And I'm thrusting the Joe staff out to make the strike. Well, what I'm doing is when I thrust this out, it rests just on the inside of my forearm and I do a twist. Now, these are little methods that I have developed. And when I'm doing the strike and the twisting action when it comes out, this part, the twist on it, drives the person away from you. If you just done a straight jab coming out on it, the person would collapse. But once you put a little twist coming into it, it allows the person to move away from you. Right? Now, obviously, well, this will depend on the attacks, but here, it's a nice movement coming out, and I also like to point my one finger down the shaft, and it just kind of holds it in place. If my partner moves forward, again, I just want to show you a little testing on this. So, if I've hit him in this, and he tries to move forward towards me, right, my posture and stance are strong enough to hold him up. Thank you. Right? So, movement, single hand, strike coming out. In the last position I was showing you reverse strike. Now what I want to do is I want to do a lunge. I'll step with my left and my left hand comes out to do the strike on this. Now when I'm doing these strikes, as I bring the Joe staff forward, I align the end to the centre of my body. And whether I'm doing a reverse strike or a lunge coming out, this alignment has to be good and strong on it. You also need to tense up your bicep muscles and your pectoral muscles in order to make sure that you've got strength to strike when you're doing your movement. I'm stepping with my left, but I'm now using two hands to move forward to do a strike. And again, I use this as a little rolling action because I like the idea of pushing the person away. So as a step, I thrust, making a good powerful strike, and then I can step back. Now making a lunge strike and using two hands onto the staff. I step forward with my left leg, right hand goes on the top, and I strike out. When I'm doing this movement, the end, this part of the shaft, needs to be lined up with the centre of my body, not over at angles. So as I do my movement, I step and strike out and finish. A reverse strike. Now what I'm doing is I'm stepping forward with my left leg and just coming into a forward stance. As I raise the Joe staff up, my hand just goes, this is my left hand, just goes to the end of this, and what I start doing then is I start pulling this hand back towards my hip. As I pull it back towards my hip, the other hand being my right hand then thrusts out. This is what I call a pull and push method. So I pull with the one and I push with the other one, and I get a nice powerful strike coming out on it. I'll just show you this from a side angle. I'm stepping forward, hand down onto the end of the staff. I can strike out, move back and finish. Taking a fighting stance and holding onto a Joe staff. I'm bringing my left leg forward, staff comes up and I just let it rest on my forearm. I place my left arm on the top and have my right hand so it's just underneath. Now what I'm doing is I'm reducing target area down, right? Target area is the visible area that anyone can see if they're attacking you. The more they see, the more they can hit. So I reduce this target area down. The angle of the staff while I'm holding it up into my stance is about a 15-degree angle. So I don't want it tilting down this way, don't want it too high up. I just want it so as you look up on this, it's pointing up towards your face and it's a little bit more intimidating. So this is going to be your fighting stance position. From a fighting stance, what I want to do is I want to do an overhead strike as if I'm going to strike down on top of somebody. Now, got my fighting stance position, my left leg is forward, I bring my hand up towards the end of the staff and I start to pull back, and I'm pulling back with my left hand and thrust the right hand forward to do a strike on this. So I move forward, strike and back. Just so you can see this again, I move forward, strike and back. Now while I'm doing this, this is called a reverse strike, being that I've got my left leg forward and it's my right hand that comes out to strike, and then I can move back. an overhead strike comes in this way, and what I'm doing now is I'm stepping forward with my left leg, so I'm just extending from fighting stance position into a forward stance, and I'm letting my hand go underneath the staff. Now, as I go underneath it, I start to draw it forward, swing and lift up, and this is hitting upwards with it now. So I move in, hand comes down to the end, move around, strike up and back. So I have movement in, strike and back. Again, this is done on a pull and push method. I pull with the one hand, push with the other to strike and move back. What I'm doing now is I'm stepping forward, and as I step forward, I'm swinging the jo around my head to make a strike. So as I come in, I swing it around, then I can bring it back. So it comes over the head, nice big swing around, take it and bring it back. Over my head, around, swing and back. This was the fighting stance that I showed you to start off with, but you can change your hand grips around. So now I have it resting on the opposite side, so my right hand has gone underneath, and you can see the shaft is just resting comfortably just in the bend and the elbow. But this also gives me a different range of striking. I'm doing a side strike coming out, and I'm pulling the staff back towards my left hip, and then I can strike out with it and just reverse back. So I strike out and reverse back. The movement I want to show you is a scooping block using the jo staff. Now, you have to visualise as a kick coming into you or an attack, and what you want to do is you're moving out of the way. As I move out of the way, I'm doing a scooping action with the end of the shaft. I scoop up and move back. Scoop as if this has gone underneath somebody's leg. You just imagine that. Then I can draw them off balance. If I wanted to, I could put a reverse strike in there, then bring it back to finish. This is a scooping block to the outside. Now, what I'm doing this time is, when a kick or an attack is coming into me, I'm moving to the inside and I'm just coming up into Niko Ashi Dashi, which is a cat stance position. What I can do then is I can transfer the jo staff underneath the kick. So as the kicking leg is coming in, I move, draw the person off balance, then I can follow it through with the reverse strike. So I step in, draw around and strike and finish. Combining a few of the movements together, what I want to do first is I want to do a rolling, rising block coming up, draw it back and then strike coming out, and this is a reverse pull and push. Now I do this from a fighting stance. I block, strike and move back. Combination of movements. I move off to the side, so I'm in a fighting stance position, and I move off as if an attack is coming in towards me, and I block and repel the attack off to the side. What I'm doing then is I'm coming into a back stance position, and I'm doing a slide and strike. Now with this, you need to cup your hand so the jo staff fits comfortably into the hand, and you can slide out on this. To get accuracy with this, you need to use hand and eye coordination, so you're looking straight down the shaft. So I have block out, Attack is doing oizuki, a lunge punch going into Jodan. As he does his attack, I block it off out to the side. I strike into his stomach area, side kick him, move back to stance. Attack is doing Gyakuzuki, a reverse punch. Stepping with his left, punch with his right. I quarter step out of the way. I'm using a parrying position just to draw his arm around, strike coming into his groin area, kick coming through, strike to finish. Attacker's doing a side blow coming into the head area. I'm rolling and blocking, striking into his groin, roll coming into the side of his neck, hand comes across his throat, and I start to draw him, so I've got a very powerful lever and strangle on him. I step around him, so I'm just reversing back. I drop him down to the floor, strike to finish him. Downward blow coming into the head area. I'm blending in with his movement, striking into his wrist, drawing him across so I take him off balance. I step under his arm, drop the Joe stuff around by his neck, and now I've placed his thumb onto his wrist and I give a little rolling action, draw him down to the floor, I put my knee into the side of him, now I've got Yonkyo onto control to finish him, I can strike and finish. Attacker's doing a straight lunge coming at me like a punch. Now I move to the side, I strike his hand and I bring the Joe staff on the top, thumb just around onto the back of it, and all I'm doing is I'm backing back and then turning the staff up into his face. As I do my movement, I then kneel down to the floor, drop him down to the floor, bring my knee just in between his bicep and tricep. I've got a powerful lock on him. While he's locked, I can strike to finish him. Downward blow coming into Jodan. I move off to the side and I'm just parrying his arm out of the way. Draw this around so the Joe staff hits him on the back of the head. I change it around so it goes underneath his chin. Step forward, drive him down to the floor and strike to finish. Straight punch coming into the face area. I quarter step out of the way, deflect his arm around, and this is with the top of the Joe staff, roll it around and then place it underneath his chin. If you do the attack again for me. So move off to the side, into him, step through, throw to take him down, strike to finish him. Downward blow coming into the head area. I parry his arm up out of the way, draw him around, Joe goes to the back of his head. You do that attack again for me. So parry, swing it around, in. Now I've drew him in nice and close to me so his head is just touching my forearm. Knee kick comes in, I project him, throw him away. The attacker's armed himself, he's coming in with a side blow coming around to Jodan head area. I've taken a fighting stance, and what I'm going to do is I'm moving forward, I'm blocking, but as I block this, I roll into his arm and I give a nice amount of impact. If you do the attack again, please. So I block coming in. I'm going to hit him in the groin, strike across the neck, draw back, and strike to finish him. Attacker's coming in for a side blow, and all I'm doing is I'm stepping forward and I'm doing a reverse strike. So I move into him, but as he does his attack, I block into him. Right? Now, these are very powerful movements. So I block into him, going to strike into his knee, and then this is called a rolling strike, and I roll out, strike into his face, move back into stance. Side blow coming into Jodan area, and as he goes in, I'm stepping away and I'm doing a parrying position, so I just push that arm out of the way. So if he does his attack again, I'll move in, parrying out of the way. I'm now going to do a slide strike coming up into his temple area, strike into the face, move, take his knee out to finish him. Side blow coming into the head area, he's doing a big attack, and I'm moving around the back of him, hit him so it strikes him on the back of the head, raise the staff up, strike to finish him. Attacker's armed himself with a baseball bat. This time it's a two-handed attack and he's swinging it around to my head area. What I'm doing is I'm stepping forward into him. Now starting off, I've got my left leg forward, but as he goes in, I block and I strike, so I'm going right into the back of the tricep muscle. You can do the attack again for me. So I move in, hit him in the groin, roll strike, reverse strike, back to stance. Attacker's got a baseball bat, going to go for a strike coming up to Jodan. You swing it through a little bit harder for me, please. Now, what I'm doing is I'm dropping down on the knee and I'm making a strike coming into the shin area. If he does his attack again, I move in, strike. I'm going to hit his leg coming over to the side, take him out, strike to finish him. The attacker's doing an overhead downward blow and I'm moving out of the way. As I move out of the way, I'm striking into his thigh straight away using a powerful lock. I come up and hit him on the back of the head, drive him down to the floor, then strike to finish him. For some of our Joe staff work, we're having to use some safety equipment. I have to consider my partner's safety when we're doing this. He's doing an overhead movement and I'm striking into the thigh area. I'm drawing back and now I'm striking straight up into the face area. So if he does his attack again, I'm moving, one, strike, finished him. Attacker's doing an overhead baseball attack, and what I'm doing is I'm moving to the inside of him. Now as I move to the inside of him, first thing I'm doing is striking into his hands. If he does the attack again, I move, strike coming in. I'm going to do that rolling strike coming through, strike over, strike down into the thigh, move back. Reverse hand attack. He's going through for a movement and I'm stepping back first. Then he's going to follow through, do a second strike through with this. Now, I move back off the first one and then I'm blocking into his arm, striking through into his leg. I pop this through to the inside of his leg. He's been thrown forward. I take him down. Strike to finish him. Attacker's doing a reverse hand attack. He's coming in and doing a side blow and I'm moving out of the way of this. Then he's going to follow through, do a second attack with it. On the first movement, I move away. On the second one, I move into him and do a block. I strike into his thigh and I'm placing the Joe staff just to the inside of his leg or the back of his leg and I'm starting to use this as a lever and I want to throw him, take him down to the floor. Off from here, I can strike to finish him. The attacker's armed with a knife and he's doing a reverse attack. All I'm doing is I'm quarter stepping, moving out of the way. As a quarter step, I move in, strike, so I'm taking his hand out straight away. Now this is just a little roll and push down. I hit him up into the face, move into him and I'm using this lever position, throw to take him down, in, down, strike, finish. Attacker's doing a lunge coming into me. As he moves forward, I'm quarter stepping to the side. I use the Joe staff, strike into his hand, but I'm also using a palm heel to strike into him as well. So as I move in, I strike him, I'm moving around the back of him, roll, step, throw to take him down to the floor, strike to the hand to finish. Ice pick attack coming in. Does his ice pick attack, I move out of the way. As I move out of the way, I'm using the Joe staff and striking into his hand, so this is going to drive his arm down. So as he does the movement, I strike down. Then I'm coming back and hitting up into the face, drawing back down to the floor, strike to finish him. Reverse ice pick attack, he's going to step with the one leg and attack with the other. Again, I'm using a quarter step moving out of the way of this. I parry and I push his arm forward. I move into him and I'm using the Joe staff so it goes across his arm, pushes the weapon back into him, drive him down to the floor, move in, strike to finish him. A reverse hand ice pick attack. Now on this one, you just show them the attack, it's coming across this way. What I want to do with my Joe staff, move straight into him, block him off straight away. I'm using this as a rolling attack going up into the back of his triceps. So I move into him, move this forward so it goes across his legs, throw to take him down to the floor, and strike to finish him. Attacker starting his attack, he's doing a kick first. Now we put some pads on his shin just to protect him with this. As he goes to do his movement, I'm stepping away and doing a rolling block coming down. But this has left me exposed to an ice pick attack. So on this one, I block off the movement, rolling block coming up. Push his arm over to the side. Now, although I block with the Joe staff, I push his arm over to the side, hit into the face, attack into the leg, drive him down to the floor, strike to finish him. Attacker's coming in, his first attack is going to be a side kick. And off from this, I'm doing a scooping movement and just drawing him forward. Whereas I'm drawing him forward, it's left me exposed to an attack coming around to the back. If you do the attack again for me, I just want to show you this scooping movement, drawing forward, block coming in, strike up into his groin, hit the back of the neck, so it's a rolling position, knee kick in, all I'm doing, step to throw him down, strike to finish him. The attacker's coming in first and foremost with a front kick, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a scooping block and I want to just draw him forward. You do that attack again. Now my scooping block is to step out the way and scoop. So as I come in, I move, scoop, but it lines me up for an attack where I'm just going to block. If he pushes against this, again I should be in a strong enough position to stop off his attack. I roll, strike him into the throat, strike to the groin to finish him. Attacker's armed himself with a chain and doing a downward blow. Now, it's impractical to do blocks with these because the chain is just going to wrap around the Joe staff and come and hit you. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just going to parry this out of the way. I parry and push him forward. I'm moving off to the side and striking, coming in with him. If I do this again, please, you do the attack. So I move in, draw, strike, strike, move back, finish. Downward blow coming in and I'm moving to the side and parrying this out of the way and drawing him forward. And I want to set him up for a body shot first. So when he does his attack, I parry, move it over the side. Just do that again for me. Now when I'm doing this, it's over to the side. I draw back, strike coming in, strike to the head to finish. Downward blow coming with the chain, and I'm working to the inside of him. As he does his attack, I use this to drive his arm away. If you do that movement again, it's a nice flowing action. So as he comes in, I'm going to roll, strike him, kick him into the groin, strike up to his face, move back to finish. Side blow coming in with the chain. What I'm doing is I'm going to step away from him and block down into his arm. Now this keeps the chain well away from me, and I'm using the back end of the Joe staff to block and push him out of the way. I'm striking coming in, hit him, and I'm going through knee, push him in, strike to finish him. Attacker's coming in with a reverse hand attack. He's doing an attack first, I move out of the way, but then I'm using the Joe staff to flick this and move it back again. So as he does his attack, one, I move it out of the way, I'm striking coming into him, kick, strike to finish him. We've changed the weapon over in the attacker's arm with a bucken. A bucken is a wooden sword, but this also could simulate a katana. He's doing a cleave coming down to my head, and I'm moving to the inside of him and driving this down towards the floor. So as he comes in, I'll move, drive it down to the floor. Next thing I want to do, strike so it's going to take it out of his hands. I'm moving round to the back of his leg, doing a strike up, over to Jodan to finish. Attacker's doing a side blow coming into the head area. He's shown the attack. Now his intention is to strike across the side of the neck. Right? This could be a katana. All I'm doing is I'm moving in, I'm blocking and stopping him straight away. I strike into the body, into the leg, down onto the head to finish him. Downward blow coming into the head, and as he raises this up, I'm thrusting straight away into his face area. Now, we've had to pause this and stop it because it's quite dangerous, even with the head guard on. I'm going to move, strike coming in, and finish. The attacker's coming in with a downward blow, disarmed himself with a Joe staff. What I want to do is I want to blend him with his movement. So as he's coming in, I'm striking straight away into the thumb area. If you do the attack again, I parry this through, draw underneath, move into him, and I cross the Joes over. So now I've got a leverage point coming on. And all I have to do, leave it to take him down, move in, strike, and finish him. The attacker's doing a straight lunge coming into me. I'm quarter stepping and I'm moving out of the way. As I quarter step, I strike into his hand. I reach over, and this is with my left hand. I keep my own Joe staff in my right hand, and I'm starting to lever this, throw them up into his face, take him down, move in, strike to finish him. The attacker's doing a downward blow coming into the head area. I move off to the side and I parry this around and I place this on the back of his head, and I'm going to drive him forward. So does his attack coming in, I move off to the side into him, drive him forward, but I stay with him, knee comes onto the back of his arm, I take the Joe staff off him, got him controlled and finished. Attacker's doing a downward blow, and all I'm doing is I'm parrying his arms out of the way, pushing those arms forward. I use the Joe staff to strike, and I come up around the back of him and I'm rolling this into his throat. With that head guard on, you could roll this across the face and bring the person down, but for safety we just put it into the neck area. I'm going to knee kick him in the groin, step forward, and as he's dropping forward, I step with him and then put my knee in his back, and I have a very powerful strangle. I can strike to finish him off then. Doing a lunge, and I'm stepping off to the side and striking into his hand. Now, as he does his movement, I strike into his hand and I'm moving close to him and I'm pulling his other hand in towards my body. I step through, dropping down to the floor. I've got a disarm, I can crush his thumb onto this, moving and strike and finish him. Attacker's doing a straight lunge coming into my stomach area. I put my Joe staff away, so I haven't got any weapon at the moment. As he does his movement, a quarter step to the side, roll so I get a small little lock onto his wrist area, strike coming into him, draw back, strike, move back and finish. Attacker's doing a downward blow coming into Joe down head area. I'm stepping and parrying the Joe staff out of his way, moving into him, throw to take him down, lift the leg up, take the thigh. Attacker's doing a side blow and he's got his Joe staff. Now, when he's doing his movement, I'm blending underneath his arm, I reverse back, foot comes out, I throw to take him over, disarm him, strike and finish.